Welcome back, everyone. Hope you've been having a great day so far. Let's welcome our next presenter, RYU Apparel. It trades on the OTCQB under the symbol RYPPF and on the TSXV under the symbol RYU-V. It's an award-winning urban athletic apparel and accessories brand engineered for the fitness, performance, and lifestyle of the athletic man and woman. Please welcome its COO, Blair, and CEO, Cesar Fazzari. Welcome, gentlemen. How you doing today?
Hey, Anna, thank you so much. Doing great.
Great. We look forward to the presentation.
Excellent. Well, listen, thank you, everyone. We're going to spin through a presentation here. I've got a couple little videos to show you. Want to thank you for the time and the opportunity. To kick things off, we're going to give you a little video of the brand, give you a bit of a little taste of what RYU is all about. Ryan, if you don't mind clicking the video. You're live. Excellent. Thank you. Well, there is a taste of RYU. We're a brand that's all about movement. We're moving forward. What's one of the things about this brand? We are a discovery brand in so many markets, and yet this brand's been around for 12 years. So what we want to do is walk you through a presentation here, talk about the brand and the opportunity around RYU. First thing, when we look at the size of the market, this is a growing industry. Just recently I looked at the metrics, and so the guidance has all been increased from upwards of $793 billion globally for the athleisure market. We are a stone's throw from Lululemon. I was one of the authors and strategists behind the men's business for Lululemon. And I look at that business now, and it's a $1 billion business within a $6 billion portfolio. We are in a time when athleisure is trumping. It's changing the game for apparel across the board. And the CAGR doesn't lie. I mean, 9.9% growth. I think this year was a 10.2% growth. The market is ripe and it's continuing to grow. We're well poised for what's going on in the industry. When we look at the market, and the biggest problem in the market is that consumers are getting a lot of Me Too product. Obviously, the barriers to entry in the market are few, but then you get in the likes of so many brands trying to become a Lululemon or trying to become a Nike, and you're getting a mass amount of Me Too product in the market. So what it's giving is consumers a very substandard experience in apparel. And we see this as a great opportunity. Allows us to cut through the noise, create a point of distinction, disrupt the market, stand out, and create a growth vehicle. How we're going to do it. So we looked at e-commerce. This brand, when I joined this brand a little 2 years ago, we were a dominant retail bricks and mortar company. Obviously, the pandemic had a pretty big impact on the company, a big inflection point, which was probably a great thing that happened. It was a bit of a blessing, because we pivoted, we changed our strategy, and became a digitally native brand throughout every touch point of the brand, using digital as a digitally led company. That's in line with what's going on in the world. E-commerce had essentially 10 years of growth in the course of 3 months. This isn't changing. E-commerce isn't changing. It's not replacing physical bricks and mortar, but e-commerce is a strategic tool to help lift products off shelves. So we've obviously embraced this wholeheartedly. We've changed our strategy, and we're not looking back. We are all about moving forward. This brand gains forward momentum. Give you an overview of our growth path. So over the next 5 years, on our plan to 100 million, and I would say these are conservative numbers. As we get through the deck, you'll see market, where things are moving. This is a billion-dollar brand in the making. Someone who's been part of the Lulu playbook, who built the men's business for Lululemon, established franchise programs like the ABC pant. I've seen it. I've done it. We've got I think it's just shy of $1 billion right now in the men's business. And then same thing with Nike and Nike Labs. So we can talk a little bit more about that after. But the first phase is really, we've been resetting the business. So we've taken our retail footprints, we've consolidated, taken our cost model down, really focused on becoming lean and agile, and then bringing on the right partnerships to help us enable and scale the business. Resetting the brand, putting a sharp pointed brand. We know we're a discovery brand in so many markets, and we still are moving the brand to a place where consumers understand and they really see what we bring to the market. It's so differentiated from other brands, the likes of Lululemon and Nike. In phase two, we're really going to engage this digital ecosystem. And we'll talk a little bit about the metaverse later, but we see, this has been a really key part of what we do and how we bring this engagement strategy forward. The biggest part for us is creating this seamless brand experience from end to end. Every touch point of the brand has to be premium and deliver this experiential brand that we're building here. As we move through that, we'll start to expand our category offering, both on the women's side, but also into new categories. And then we'll maximize this opportunity once the brand is established, and we've established the key beachheads in the US market, which is our primary focus right now, and then in key European markets. On the share side of it, this is a buyer's opportunity. The share is significantly undervalued. 24 months ago, at a market cap of about 100 million. Today, it's significantly not that. Offering in our share. And Caesar, we haven't talked too much about Caesar, but Caesar Fazari is a gifted entrepreneur who saw the opportunity in this brand and assembled a team to go after it, and then took and invested his money into the company to really help propel and get ourselves positioned in the right place. We're also seeing a massive inflection point in the market. I mean, everybody knows the market's down. There's so many things happening right now, which is causing a lot of downward pressure. But what are some of the unlocks for us? Market. You see the size of the market. We see the size of the athleisure industry. It is growing at an exponential rate. It is a behemoth. We'll talk more about our partnerships, but these truly are going to be some of the unlocks and the force multipliers for us as we move this brand forward. The NFL and the Nfl Alumni Academy, really key in this one. 40,000 alumni members. We've got an opportunity to embrace and really scale, bringing out the brand in so many different places, using ambassadors at such a high degree to be able to kind of bring this message forward. So again, great opportunity right now. If there's ever a time to buy, this would be it. What are we doing on the back? Well, we're reinterpreting clothing. We're using the mantra of movement, and movement matters, to reimagine how we design and build apparel. And so taking classics, reimagining them, and all filtered through the lens of movement. And then at the same time, using some of the strategies that I've developed for other brands like Lululemon and Nike, where we're creating an architecture that's grounded in core, that's got a force multiplier designed into it, so we can create velocity in the business and have high profitability. So again, being very smart how we build this business all the way through. Who we serve. So the athleisure market's obviously, it's big, it's robust. I think the question I get asked a lot is, what about women's? Where's women's? Women's are obviously a huge part of the market, but for us, we've got some really interesting metrics to our business. 66% of our consumers are male. We've got an extremely strong loyalty, and I can talk a little bit more about loyalty and how that converts into volume. We've got a great men's business happening, right? So right now our focus is significantly, we're over-indexing on the men's side of the business, using our SKU dollars wisely. But as we grow and build this business, we will definitely expand it out to the women's in a more robust way. Our position. And this is interesting. I keep referencing Nike and Lululemon, by design and for reason, because I was part of the author of those strategies for both the men's business and also for the Nike Lab proposition, which was at Nike was the tip of the spear, used for collaborations from fashion designers to athletes, and used to amplify all the different categories for growth. So one of the most important parts of Nike's playbook is Nike Lab. And so that was a formula that we're certainly taking into heart when we look at RYU and how we build this business. But our sweet spot is really going to be defining the accessible luxury category. And when we look at the next slide, you're going to see where the white space starts to show up. Because as I mentioned earlier on, there's so many brands in the space, there's so much noise, and there's so much Me Too happening that we see our unique position being, really, really quite special and disruptive. And so, here's an example. There's a lot of noise, a lot of brands out there, challenger brands like Gymshark that have grown rapidly over the last 10 years through various channels. Lululemon rolled $6 billion this year. Nike's $37 billion. I mean, you see these behemoths starting to kind of grow. The landscape is changing very quickly. And for us, we look at the white space where sport brands play in predominantly in this, the performance space. We look at what's happening on the global scale between luxury and fashion. And there's this morph that's happening across, blurring the lines. RYU is so well positioned with our premium luxury lifestyle apparel that we have this ability to kind of bridge the gap between opening accessible price points to premium, but also from a category standpoint to be able to take the two and morph it. So where you look at where Lululemon's had some of its franchise, there is a $1 million a year program built on one pad. Line building franchise pro as we build this business, have multiple franchises built within the house. How will we win? Innovation trumps all. And again, we take this to heart. We think about it in everything we do, whether it's on the marketing front and the digital and the partnerships we have, to product and through our vendor partners that we've built in our supply chain that we've established for ourselves. So integration and customer retention is the other key part of this. I mentioned it earlier. This is obviously a really important part, really important stats that we take to heart. We know that customer loyalty, there's a loyalty component that we've tied into our model as we built, and certainly on the direct to consumer side. But what we look at is some of the compelling metrics in the market that you just cannot ignore. 136 billion loss due to customers flipping brands. We know with the Gen Z and the millennials, the loyalty is low, so you have to continue to earn their loyalty. We see in some of the metrics that we've defined is that 5% increase in retention will create 95% increase in volume. And you think about it from a percentage and growth, that is massive. So every single customer, as we build this business, we're building it one customer at a time. We've got a strong loyalty in Canada. We know in the US, it's a growth opportunity. Every time we walk out and touch a new customer in the US, they're sold. And so I'll talk a little bit more about that on the wholesale side. But the key pillars to our innovation and our retention is around product innovation, reimagining of classics, taking apparel, thinking about it in a different way, being disruptive, distinctive, and yet delivering an accessible luxury brand. Distribution. We are an omni-channel offense. We have consolidated on our retail right now. We're focused on digital and wholesale, using strategic pop-ups to identify, gather data, and identify where our future retail will start to sit. Sustainability. That is a huge driver right now. The Gen Z millennials are all looking for brands that they want to believe in and brands that take a stand for something. We take that to heart in our namesake, Respect the Universe. It's what we do. And it's what we are going to continue to do, and how we reimagine product, but also reimagine the materials and the vendors and the supply chain that we work with to be able to deliver products that are fully good for the earth. Customer experience, again, this comes down to retention. We've over-indexed on our team internally. And again, every point that we go out to is out-servicing the competition, and that we take to heart. Building a scale, really, this is about creating this integrated marketplace. So when we talk about wholesale, and we'll talk more about it in the coming slides, every touch point is integrated through digital. So whether it's through a online experience off your mobile phone, or whether it's in a pop-up shop, or whether you are entering RYU into the metaverse, it is an integrated marketplace across every touch point. And the reason why we're using so heavily focused of shifting the company to being a technology company and using digital as our vehicle is speed, scale, and efficiency. So we can maintain our agility, be able to react quickly, and test and learn. Movement does matter. As we look at our wholesale business right now, we've engaged wholesale for the last 7 months in the US. Prior, wholesale wasn't part of RYU's strategy. We brought on some incredible partners to help us grow and lead this wholesale business. Brought on Dave Mahoney, former VP of sales for Saks Underwear, helped grow that business to about 120 million. Dave is a veteran, seasoned veteran in the space. And again, partnerships and relationships are what matter. And so in this, the US market, for us getting social proof, wholesale is a strategic unlock to growing and capitalize on the market. What we're trending in wholesale, and right now in early this year was very low conservative numbers. We looked at what we were going to do in wholesale business is already surpassing our expectation. So, we'll talk a little bit about some of the key accounts, but we see this to be about a 900% growth opportunity over the next 3 years, just in wholesale alone. How we build the wholesale business is power packs. We're taking a playbook strategy out of Nike's business. Nike, when I left Nike, we were doing about 80% of the business in wholesale. And that was, at the time, was 32 billion, I think, what the company was doing. Nike is pivoted. They've changed. They've rolled back on their wholesale strategy. They've really focused on building out direct-to-consumer retail doors now. And that has left a massive gap in the market. Companies like Foot Locker, who anchored so much of their business to Nike, Dick's Sporting Goods, these are great opportunities. And we're at the gates. We're having conversations, and we're getting buys already by these vendors. So we're building the business using power packs, building franchise programs, whether it's on the bottoms with our Impact collection, our Rebel collection, or our new Terry collection, which builds on the top of the strength of our Ethos offering. And these are some of the existing programs we've got in place right now. But what we are doing is taking the category killer approach. We don't want to go in and be a mile wide and an inch thick. We want to go in and be meaningful to our partners so that we can deliver them solutions that ultimately drive dollars per square foot in the retail environment. Here's a little bit of an insight to where we're going over the next 3 years. So in 2022, conversations and accounts that we've already landed. So we're having conversations across the board with the likes of Equinox, Zappos, Sport Check in Canada, Altitude Sports, Nordstrom's, Backcountry, Indigo. We've already taken half of those accounts and landed preliminary buys. So we're in Nordstrom's, we're in Zappos, we've got Indigo, Altitude. We were in Equinox prior. We're going back into Equinox, Sports Check. We're definitely making quick inroads. And the exciting part of it is that everybody wants to be talking to us. And so the feedback I'm constantly getting from the rep group and from the sales leadership is that everybody's excited. They've been waiting at the door for RYU. So we see this as truly being a great growth vehicle for us. As we move forward and we look at the US market, obviously the likes of Shields, Dick's, and we're already at the door talking to Dick's right now. So Dick's might be a 2022. Simon's in Canada, Bloomingdale's, REI, The Buckle, and others like. As we move on, we look at some of the mass retail, Macy's, Urban Outfitters, and by the way, we already received an order from Urban Outfitters. So we're already making huge inroads in a very, very short amount of time. Where we'll play. So phase one, digital. Obviously, the e-commerce is a really important part of it. E-commerce is a strategic tool, not only from a direct-to-consumer and managing the experience, but e-com helps lift product off shelves. Phase two, premium brand partners. So as we look at these premium brand partners, we're also looking at partners that have a strong digital presence. We know that's a really important part of our partnerships that we want to be able to engage. And then phase three, we look at premium volume partners. And so where the Dick's Sporting Goods of the world, the Macy's, the Academy, and then when we start to look internationally, there are retail environments that we would definitely be in conversations with who have similar type profile. International expansion. So obviously the U.S. market, you've heard me echo it a number of times. It's the number one market for us. We are focused on the United States. As we go beyond the United States, Europe, Western Europe is a big focus. And then Asia, the Asian, that's a big part of it, but that's certainly a tertiary expansion plan for us at this point. RYU has got tremendous amount of accolades, awards. The brand has been around for 12 years. We've won design awards for our products. Our bags were certainly revered, and they are still coveted as being some of, if not the nicest bags out in the business. We've got patents, trade design patents on different elements of our product, the lay flat hood on our Ethos program. And again, these are just some of the tools in our toolkit. But again, we like to remind everyone that, we certainly are a meaningful player in the market, and we've earned that place. Recognition. Again, these are just some of the places where we've shown up as being recognized as a leading brand in the athleisure space. And this is just, again, it's just the beginning. We are just on the beginning of a journey that really is going to take this brand to a special place. Every journey, every vehicle is driven by people, and people are what make this happen. I mentioned about Caesar before. Caesar's a gifted entrepreneur. He's had great success outside the industry in a number of areas. And when he saw this brand, he recognized the opportunity. He contacted me. We had a conversation. I gave up my executive job at Red Bull to come on board. I mean, I saw the opportunity myself as someone who's been in the industry for 22 years. I've been part of the brands who have had tremendous, success, and I see the opportunity, and there's still success yet to be taken. So, I've joined the brand coming from the likes of Red Bull, Nike, The Gap, Lululemon, a number of challenger startup brands from Tracksmith and so forth. As we look at some of the other leaders on the team, Zach Beers joined us from Arc'teryx. Zach's a gifted marketing talent who had incredible success with Amer Sports, and specifically the Arc'teryx brand, and building out their strategic retail pop-ups in the United States. Again, key reason why Zach's here. Not only is he, think around corners, but he has the ability, he's got the experience to help us grow our next phase of our retail growth. Brett Pawson, obviously a longtime standing RYU, strength in this company, comes with a strong retail background. Again, a key source and an advocate for the brand. So, really excited to have Brett involved. And then most recently, Robert Lelevec, who's CFO. I mean, Robert comes to us with an incredible background coming from PwC, True Trace, and other brands that he has been a steward on the financial side of growing those businesses. So we're just giving you a few of the people, but we've got a strong roster. It's a lean team. We're able to stay agile and identify and capitalize on opportunity and mobilize quickly. As we bring the brand to life, campaigns that connect stories and sell. Ultimately, everything you do has to convert. As much as we may want to create the most unique and most special, everything has a conversion tied to it. Everything has a multiple. Everything has been measured carefully. So as we look at global partnerships, this is the same. We were very strategic in the partnerships that we've chosen. Right now we've got, numerous on the page here. 3 key partnerships that I'm going to call out in the next couple slides will be NFL Alumni, key Canada Skate. We were at the Olympics last year representing Canada, co-sponsors with Red Bull, 7-Eleven, with the Canadian skate team, first time at the Olympics. So great notoriety. We're still in contract with them, and we've got lots happening with Canada Skate. And then as we start to look at, where we're going with the metaverse and Rapuzzle, again, strategic partnership. And this is something that's going to be really interesting for us in the coming months as we continue to kind of move this agenda forward. Obviously, there's a lot of talk right now around the metaverse. It's not going away. It's the future. And we're already leaps and bounds ahead of where, most of the world is right now with the metaverse. And we've got the best partner at the table. TrueTrace, Afterpay, Dealbox, and again, key partnerships. I won't go into deep detail, but these have been great partners for us as we've grown this business. One I really want to highlight here is the NFL Alumni Academy. So the Academy was established 2 years ago. It is a incubator for athletes for the NFL. It's a feeder program for the NFL, CFL, the XFL. And we are front and center as their key sponsor for the apparel. Last year, we did 25 athletes. This year, we're doing 250 athletes. And that is supporting the NFL Alumni Academy, which again is a feeder program to the NFL, primarily. CFL drafted an athlete last year, and then the XFL, with Dwayne Johnson and The Rock. So that's a really exciting one for us. And again, this is the beginning of a journey for this partnership. One of the key areas, and if you think about it, with the athletes from the NFL, one of the largest, if not the most coveted organizations in the world, 40 golf tournaments that lead to the Super Bowl of golf. We're engaged in that. We're supporting that. It's access to 40,000 athletes globally from the NFL, from players, coaches, supporting staff. And this is the beginning of a long-term relationship with the Academy. This is a strategic unlock for us. We're building a community that's got a shared belief of respect, which comes out of our namesake, Respect Universe. So obviously there's more to come there, but it's a soundbite for you to share. So again, highlighting key partnerships, NFL Alumni Academy, Canada Skate, and the Repuzzles. And again, these are going to be the force multipliers that really help us take our message forward and grow new audiences in the United States. Social media. So obviously bringing back to the digital, social drives everything. Content. That is the key today. And UGC is front and center. So we've got beautiful polished videos. We've got incredible assets. As we build our community, and we build our community of respect, we build our community of movement and why movement matters to you, UGC is be front and center. And again, this is part of our influencer strategy and our ambassador strategy to grow the brand. And we're getting huge traction, and it's growing very quickly. But retail, as we think about retail in the future and what retail will be for us, it's more than a store. These are going to be social outposts. We're going to blur the lines between different audiences, bring people together, and reimagine what retail will look like. That is really the future for RYU. So obviously right now we've consolidated, we pulled back on retail on the footprint right now. We've given up some strategic beachheads, both in New York, Toronto, and Vancouver. We did that by design. We're going to build a retail experience that's never been seen before. And 3 years from now, you'll start to see that show up. And it'll be in key markets across the US and back in Canada. And again, retail is a strategic part of this offense. But right now, direct to consumer, digital, and wholesale are going to be the key parts with leveraging key pop-ups to test and learn in different markets. So again, coming to a close presentation, I've given a lot of information here in a short period of time. I wanted to kind of bring it back to the share and to where we're at as a company. Obviously we see this as a great opportunity for the market. And on top of that, I wanted to leave with a parting video from the chairman and CEO of Zoom Media, Francois Dubois. And I think his message to Caesar and I in a recent presentation really does speak volume to the opportunity. So Ryan, I'm going to get you to play the video and before we close it up.
Yeah. Caesar, can I jump in for just 2 seconds?
Yes.
All of you who are on this call are looking at this as a potential investment. And I just want to share with you one data point. So I run a company called Zoom where we reach over 35 to 38 million gym members. So my advertisers are Fortune 500 companies. I'm the sole owner. I've had it for over 20 years, and I've only invested in one company that advertised with me. Only one, RYU. And I'll tell you why. It's not just because of Caesar. It's because the team he's brought together. Rob is a perfect example of someone who's seen the playbook and can adapt. And the other thing I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen, is that the tide is rising. You've all seen it. Athleisure is becoming more and more mainstream. So the question to ask yourself is, which company is going to yield the greatest return? The Nikes and the Adidas have done a great job, but they've really plateaued. I mean, they're doing great, don't get me wrong. But when I look at the team at RYU, I look at the brand, I look at the product, I look at where they're going. And that's why I opened my checkbook and invested in the company. So I'll kick it back to the CEO, to Caesar and Rob. But I have to tell you, I've never been more impressed with the team, nor product, nor the upside. And that's my 2 cents worth after 35 years in the media business and over 25 years in the fitness business. Back to you, Caesar.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much, Francois.
You're back. Wonderful. Thanks. Well, as we bring this presentation to a close, and I'm gonna pass it off to Anna. I want to say, thank you for the opportunity to kind of share a little bit more about RYU. It is a great opportunity, and certainly, as everyone's very astute and watching the market, you're always looking for that 100 banger, and this is being one of those brands that you want to look at. Certainly, I've been part of the Lulu, camp, and I'll go back to that. And I always joke, we were in the rocket ship, and the Scotch tape was holding the walls together, and this thing was doing 300+ million a year in growth. That can be done again, and it's going to be done again. And so this is the brand. RYU is the brand. We're definitely poised well. We're a disruptive brand. We're agile, and we're ripe for where the market needs to go. So, Anna, I'm going to pass it back on to you. I think we've got a couple questions in place, so I'd love to field some questions. Caesar and I are
Anna, before you go on, I just wanted to thank Rob for a great presentation, and all the shareholders and all the people that are at RYU and have been really digging deep, restructuring everything. I came on about 2.5 years ago as an activist investor, but always because of the core of the business, the quality, and the message. So RYU is founded on respect, honor, strength, sustainability, and we have a great team to keep pushing that forward. And I'm really excited for this next level of growth. And I just want to say thanks again.
That's great.
Wonderful. Yeah, exciting stuff you guys have going on. Thank you for that wonderful presentation. Okay, we do have lots of questions from our audience, so feel free to chime in with the answers whenever you're ready. Randy McCoy asks if RYU is planning to enter other market segments outside of the luxury lifestyle category.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. We're obviously, we've been approached by, multitude of brands who want to do collaborations, partnerships, investment opportunities for us. We've certainly looking at category, I'd say category extenders that do come back to the same audience that we're servicing right now with the apparel side of the business. What I would do is lean in on the possibility of, equipment. We saw some opportunities with brands. We see what Peloton's been able to do. There are definitely opportunities. So I'd say yes to the answer. Being specific, going to hold back on that right now, but certainly yes, we are. We're definitely looking, and we've got plans with some new category expansion.
Great. Terry Washington notices that you have had quarter-on-quarter growth for Q1 and Q2 compared to prior Q1 and Q2. So what do you attribute this to?
Yeah, no, it's a good question and a good call out and observation. Part of what we've been doing is we've been operationalizing the business. For the last 12 months, we've been operationalizing the business. We had to do a big cleanup. There was a lot of cost cutting, consolidation. So that's part of it. And then onboarding a new sales leadership team to part of our wholesale strategy, and also a new digital team and marketing offense, so we could bring it all together. And so now we're starting to see the engine and the wheels turn over, and we're starting to see those results. And we're excited. The momentum's definitely strong, and we see this as it's going to carry us through the balance of the year. And then 2023 is going to be a big year for us.
Great. You mentioned this in your presentation, but we have some questions. Leah Collins, as well as Cedric Walsh. Talk about your vision for reimagined retail and how you're entering the metaverse.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Reimagined retail. I mean, that's a big one. We look at where the retail's going, and again, I was sitting in the camp of the Gap, sitting in the boardroom with the CEO of the Gap back in the day when Gap was seeing a massive divide. There was a huge gap happening, no pun intended, with the retail experience. It was probably worst in class. People always like to talk about best in class. The Gap was worst in class. And so where brands like Lululemon have continued to grow and have strength, to me, that's the floor. The future for us is taking that, dimensionalizing that experience in a way that hasn't been seen before. So where we're able to bring in new technology, take people on experiences far beyond the physical bricks and mortar, even though they're in the bricks and mortar. And that's where, we lean in on with the metaverse and our partnership with Web3 technologies. That's going to allow us to take consumers on a journey. So when you walk into a store and let's just say you're looking at product, or you don't even have to be in the store, that virtual experience can take you and you can go and shop at the new offering, but you can also go and imagine with avatars and augmented reality of taking it to an experience on the side of a ski hill or doing a Barry's boot camp class in New York. So, we're just getting going on this. Certainly the technology is evolving very quickly as well. We want to be front and center so that experience will become, best in class. The other side of it too is that the physical bricks and mortar, we're looking at retail in a different way. We're looking at it as a dispensary type offering, where instead of having a mass, big box store, we're looking at small strategic retail where we're able to use data from our strategic pop-ups, and as we're gathering through our direct channels, use data to drive assortment strategies based on our demographic that's in a specific geographic area, and also understanding the psychographic of why those consumers buy the product and why they are going to be coming shopping for us. So again, there's a lot of science that's going to go into the future of retail. It's not just going to be bells and whistles and big video screens. There's certainly a lot on the back end to make this a best-in-class experience for a very specific audience that we're targeting in key markets.
Great. You mentioned big brand names like Lululemon and Nike. Roger Weber wants you to explain your plan and how you're going to compete with those brands.
No, it's great. I mean, I think first and foremost is that we're small, we're agile. That's an advantage for us. We have the ability to pivot quickly, capitalize on opportunities that larger established brands cannot. Certainly, there's a capitalization that goes with the bigger brands, and they're able to throw money at opportunities. But I'll give an example: the gaming market, esports. Esports is a growth opportunity. We are sponsoring a Canadian national esports team right now. I came from Red Bull, where we were heavily focused, spending about $120 million a year on esports space. Esports is a growth opportunity. The big brands like Lululemon and Nike are going to struggle to pivot their offense quickly to go after that category because it's not part of their existing playbook. And so that's where, we're going to be able to move very quickly. And again, to the technology partners we brought to the table, we're going to be able to create solutions and take that experience and make it a seamless part of the RYU strategy.
Great. Melinda Simpson wants you to go over your growth strategy for RYU, if you can get more specific.
Sure. So, right now, our key, right now is building an engagement. For us, we've got a strong following in the Canadian market. The growth opportunity is certainly the U.S. We need to develop an engagement plan. Wholesale is a key part of that. Building out social proof with key retailers, and then our direct to consumer. We know right now the cost of acquisition of consumers is the highest it's ever been. And so, with the changes in the iOS, we know that it's an expensive proposition on the direct to consumer side, but it's a key strategic side of building both online presence that helps move product off the shelves. That's a key part of it. As we move through, I talked about UGC, our influencer, building a network and a community of followers around RYU and using some of our key messaging like respect. So phase one, direct to consumer, getting our direct to consumer model dialed in. Phase two, engaging wholesale, which we're into right now. As we go beyond that, strategic pop-ups in key markets. So we start to establish a strong core offering in the direct consumer side, and then future of retail. And that's from a distribution standpoint. From a product standpoint, right now, we've taken our SKU dollars, consolidated, focus on the men's side of the business. It's got the highest conversion, biggest traction right now. We're taking it, building a presence of men's. I'm basically taking the same strategy that I used at Lululemon, but it was inverse. For Lululemon, the access point to an active lifestyle was through women and through yoga. For the men's business, which was a dominant business, which was a small portion of the female business, we use women to facilitate. We're now doing the inverse, where we're using females to help facilitate, or men to help facilitate the female guest. And we're going to take this men's business, grow it, and as we hit critical mass, we'll expand into the female audience. I always say to the team, we're not going to out Lulu on the type business right now. So why would we go and spend our time there? Focus where we're getting traction. We're getting traction around men. The male consumer is more qualified now as a consumer and a shopper than ever before. We're seeing the growth that Lululemon's had, the success they've had in that space. $1 billion men's franchise. We can do it, and then we're going to build on top of that with women's. So, and then that will get us to where we start to maximize the brand. We'll have strong brand affinity. We'll be able to take categories and do a lot of category expansion. But until we get to that place, we're going to be very strategic as how on the rungs of the ladder that we step through.
Great.
Another part of that, sort of interrupt, but our quality, and again, I've put a lot of investment dollars into this company, and the biggest reason is because of the quality. The quality and the style is second to none. And that's this summer we were at the Olympics, and I loved seeing our brand logo right next to Nike. And I think the only place is up for us. They're not coming down to us.
Correct.
Fantastic. And you have won some awards, is that correct? Some awards when it comes to your bags. Explain some of that, please.
Yeah, no, we've had some great success. Obviously, the bags were a strategic part of the early offense for the brand. Very, very architecturally designed, incredible fit and finish, quality of materials. The bags still continue to get Editor's Choice Awards in various publications and online and physical publications, and that's not stopping. We're reinvesting in bags. We're reimagining our bags, building on the strength that we've got right now with new vendor partners as well that are in works. So, that's not going away. We've also got a ton of awards, and we've got design patents on key elements of our garments. I mentioned the lay flat hood. That was one of the strategic, our gusseting that we use in our pants and some of our key mid-layer tops. Again, these are just some of the building blocks of this great quality luxury brand.
Fantastic. Sorry, guys, my dog seems to be barking at this current moment. Let's talk about the killer category item in your clothing line. What do you think it's going to be? Backpacks? And how are you going to fund and finance these new clothing purchases for resale? Dave Kelly wants to know.
Absolutely. Good question, Dave. Obviously, I've mentioned franchise programs. I think about our Chino program. Obviously our bags are really key, and bags have been a linchpin for this company. We've got a couple other linchpins that we're building on. And one of them is in our mid layers, the Ethos program, which is spacer technology. We've taken that into a new innovative fleece program, which is going to be coming out in the Odyssey, which will be a 2023 initiative. And then we look at our bottoms. We know for the male consumer, bottoms are key. You win the male through bottoms. So we have been very strategic on our bottoms. We have got incredible Chino program right now, super comfortable. I'm actually wearing them today. Wore them at a golf tournament at the NFL 2 weeks ago. Wear them day in, day out. And it is a constant reminder that we've got some incredible building blocks. And that is just the beginning. So I call it the ABC Pant Killer. We're building a pant program that will rival everyone's program, if not trump them. And so those are some of the key blocks. But from a category killer approach, we want to be able to walk into a Nordstrom's and talk to a bottoms buyer and say, we want the Zane robe jogger program taken out, because we're giving you a modern program that's going to fill your needs from a business solution. We're going to be able to identify the silhouettes and fits that are required. We're going to give you the color and print multipliers that allow you to create seasonal newness, keep that business turning over, and we're going to bring the innovation. So through material science, fit, functionality.
Rob, do you mind, how about our tops? And so I've been fortunate enough to see the full, presentation on the clothing, but there's a few jackets and a vest that Rob said to me, this is the Canada Goose killer.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I obviously, to me, those are the sparkles on the cake. When we get into some of our editorial pieces, and we've only talked a lot around core. Obviously, bottoms are key core, mid layers are core, bag programs and accessories are core. What brings the energy are these hero styles, and so we've got an outerwear program that is going to outshine. I joke, the Canada Gooses, the Arc'teryx Valence of the world. I mean, these are key marquee styles. They're going to be used as vehicles to create energy for the brand. So they're energy styles, they're classics that have been reimagined. We're going to use them strategically. They're going to be bought tight. There's going to be a scarcity to them. They're high value items. This will bring cachet, but it'll help drive more core in our bottoms and other key programs.
Well, it truly is the fashion these days, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Alex Chomidge, sorry if I mispronounced that, wants to know what do we need to look for as far as milestones which will propel the stock value and hold its price?
Yeah, good question. I mean, obviously, the quarterly results, I think that's a pretty good indicator that there's some strong momentum happening. I would say, watch our press. See the press that we're putting out. We've got, we're trying to narrate to the market of what's going on, being very transparent. We're bringing on, we've got a lot of new news to be sharing all the time. With from retail partnerships to, key partnerships that we're using, or building with like the NFL and others. I think those are probably two of the key areas. So from, watching the quarterly results, staying abreast of what's going on in the press. And I would say start to follow us, go and sign up, follow us on social media. I think that's an important one. Go online, sign up at ryu.com, be part of our messaging. You'll start to see the narrative. You'll see the products, you'll see the new launches and introductions. And then you'll start to see us show up in places that, you hadn't seen us show up before. It's a big part of it. Join the tribe. That's what I'd say. Join the RYU tribe. It's this train is taking off and you want to be part of it.
So our next presenter had to postpone to our upcoming conference. So if you'd like to continue for about 10, 15 minutes, we can. Just let me know if you'd like to continue. We've got lots more questions from our audience.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
All right. Al Jordan wants to know about your blockchain expert that you just hired. What's the objective there? Is it about reducing costs or better customer experience? Explain.
All the above. Really, it's all the above. Obviously, I wish that Zach was on here and Thomas Carter were on here to talk it through in more detail, because they would give you I think they would give you the best answer. But what I would say is all the above. As a brand right now and where the world's at, we think that there's obviously the opportunity to reduce costs and find efficiencies in everything we do. And then complete transparency end to end. I mean, consumers demand it. Today, the Gen Z millennials, they not only expect it, they demand it. They want to have transparency. And so this isn't necessarily new, but it's certainly becoming the norm. And so we're embracing it wholeheartedly. And you're going to see more and hear more about that from us in the coming months.
Great. Dan Alvarado says, congratulations on 70% growth in sales from the same quarter, 2021 to 2022. He's got two questions. What can we expect growth rate to be over the next 12 to 24 months? And when do you expect to release your Q2 numbers?
Yeah, no, good question. So first part of it, growth is going to continue. this year we're going to still be, fairly tempered on our growth multiple. You're going to see similar results as we move into Q2. We've had a great Q2 thus far. You'll get those results be posted in August. And to my deck, as wholesale comes online, and so we're just at the beginning of this journey. Some of these key wholesale accounts, and I got an order from Zappos yesterday, and so these are what I would say is the sleepers in the mix. I talked about a 900% growth on wholesale over the next 3 years. I would say those are fairly conservative. That's a fairly conservative growth. We're going to see this. I would say, stay close to what we're doing. By Christmas, end of year, you're going to start to see some big numbers as we move into 2023, because obviously the wholesale buying cycles are a little bit different. Right now, we're getting a lot of at-once orders. As we go into 2023, those will be booking orders for seasonal booking. You're going to start to see some big numbers come in. So that growth will definitely continue to grow. The momentum's just beginning.
Great. And go ahead,
I
Cesar.
would say the exposure that we're going to get, let's say in September, so late summer, early fall, with everything that we are doing and continuing to do with the NFL and now the XFL and this many players, and all of the events that are been scheduled around that, with that grassroots real exposure, boots on the ground. We have few teams being set up right now to be out there and give an idea of all the different things we're doing, and to go back on the digital and the blockchain. So that's Thomas Carter and Ripple's, TNS, and several other technology brands. Like Rob said, it'd be great if they were able to, let's say, answer some of those questions, because we would just make a mess of it. Because it is, these guys are the best in class, best in the world. And the fact that they've recognized our, world-class quality, and to come together with this, the experiences that we're working on right now, because it's all brand new, which is going to be part of our future retail strategy. So whatever footprint we're going to have is going to have technology attached to it, which is going to be, best in class and safe with the new blockchain technology. The way I know it, it's that your ability to control your own data is key here now, instead of somebody else controlling your data.
Right on. A follow-up question about the NFL. Cecil wants to know, what percentage of revenue will the contract with the NFL alumni bring to you?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, we look at it as there isn't a specific conversion tied to it. But what we look at it is the audience that we're growing. So, we're looking at this is a strategic partnership to help us grow into a space and have access to athletes and, advocates who are going to endorse and embrace the brand. I'd say it's premature, Cecil, to kind of and to answer that with an actual dollar value. What I would say is that there are very few brands in a position that we're in right now to be able to capitalize on this massive, NFL, brand. So, I think, great question. I wish I had an exact answer for you. What I would say is that it's going to be a strategic part, and it's a force multiplier to the numbers we're putting up. And so as we look at, growing this business, and we're looking at building our relationship and becoming more entrenched with the Academy and the NFL alumni, this will be a key driver for growing our consumer audience.
Great. D. Kelly wants to know, what's your burn and how are you funding it? Plus, are you raising capital?
Sure. Yeah, no, absolutely. So our burn rate we've taken it down. Obviously, part of our big expenses were retail, and we've collapsed our retail store base to really focus and take those dollars and place them into wholesale and place them into direct-to-consumer performance marketing. Obviously, that's a big part of it. Burn rate right now, we're overhead is, roughly, I don't know, Caesar, if you want to come,
I'm going to say
150 per month. Yeah.
It just got a little bit fuzzy right now. So we brought the burn down. Yeah, it's I'm going to say under 150,000 a month, and it's changing at this time because of the leases that we've been able to restructure and get out of. Some of them we have some legacy onto them, so that still is inside that burn. And it's being funded right now by sales and by conversion of warrants and so on. I'm a big part of that. There's no future raise intended. All of it is going to be funded internally and by sales and by future growth that I think we're going to be able to get in the digital metaverse of this is something we didn't speak about that much, but it's the unknown. And between skins, reskinning things, and we're working on some projects that again are premature, but our burn is way down. The funding is again through sales and internal funding, and no raise in the future.
All right, thank you for that. Alex Choij has a few more questions. Is RYU going to infuse the company with investment to boost its prospects? And what is a sustainable stock price for RYU?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, so it's a bit of the same question, but evaluation. So, that's where I believe that we're extremely undervalued, and that's based on, from my position, I get offers on this company. And so I'm going to say that if I was to ever go towards that, and I'm not, but I get substantially higher offers. I feel this company within the next, year should get back to the levels that it was about a year ago, possibly earlier. There's a lot of things going on in this company that really aren't out there right now, and so as all that information goes out, I think it'll translate very positively on our valuation. If I was to pick a number, I would say that we should be in the 25-cent range minimum right now. There's as the CEO and also a big investor in the company, I'm always dumbfounded at how the market moves sometimes, and so our valuation I think should be much higher, will be much higher. I think that there's been forces on it out there, as we know the market, that for whatever reason don't allow it to reach its maximum potential. And so as we go forward here, and we've reorganized in a way where we're much more focused and able to now concentrate on the valuation aspect along with our retail growth.
Great. Thank you for that.
The other side of it too, Caesar, I mean, probably wouldn't hurt to mention, 36 months ago, stock was at what, 250? I mean, we're certainly, we're talking about 25 cents and it's undervalued, but this stock has got a, when we achieve each one of these rungs on the ladder, it's just to continue to support and drive stock value. And so our expectation is certainly, significantly higher than probably what's coming across on this presentation right now. We see this as being, again, that hidden gem that, you want to be part of.
We've got 3 questions. These will be the last questions today from Kevin Young. Kevin, is asking for you to talk about the roadmap of your margins on this 5-year growth plan. Does it depend heavily on e-commerce traction or more on supplier relationships? So can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's a combination of both, Kevin. So, part of me coming on board is that I revamped the supply chain. Again, when we're in the stage where we're at right now, you need to have vendor partners who you are meaningful to them as they are meaningful to you. And so we've got great relationships, great partners at play. Both give us a lot of concessions on costs and minimums. So we'll be able to keep our inventory in check, be able to scale and grow very carefully and wisely. That's really important versus, going just because Lululemon does business with a specific vendor doesn't mean you should be. And then so that's a really, really important one. So when I came in, we were leaving a lot of money on the table, overpaying for product. We have changed that. We've got good margins. We're going to see those margins continue to grow. What I'm used to is a 72 to 75 point margin average going in margin. We're going to be driving towards that. We're almost there now. But I would say give us another 12 months, couple seasons under our belt, and we'll be consistent across the board. So again, vendor partners, really key part of that.
And do you plan to remain dominantly online, or do you plan to open more stores in 2022 and 2023?
Well, we're online, but wholesale. So we will be in physical bricks and mortar, just not our own. First phase of that is, retail partners. So, ideally, we become a fixture in Nordstrom's. So, use that as an example, or Bloomingdale's or Macy's or, Dick's Sporting Goods. So, that's our first foray to kind of holding our physical bricks and mortar, and then using shop and shop opportunities, and then doing physical pop-ups, which are going to be the primer for us to get back into having our own retail base. Ultimately, we'll have a retail base again. We know retail is a key part of this. We all love retail. That's why we do what we do. Helps you deliver an experience and control that experience. But right now, we're getting it right. And again, digital is the first lead in this.
And last question from Kevin. How much manufacturing capacity are you currently utilizing, and how much do you plan to expand your existing capacity to achieve this 5-year goal of yours?
Yeah, no, the vendors that we've brought on board right now essentially can help us drive out to about 5 years. And so within the mix, we've got vendors with enough capacity, and they're holding capacity for us to be able to scale the business to hit our 5-year numbers. Beyond that, we get into, and 3 years out, we'll be having again, part of this relationship with these partners is that we'll be looking at expanding capacity probably in 24 months. We're going to start to look at making sure that we can scale, because there will be the unlock that comes from key wholesale partners that are going to force that. That said, I've got vendors in the mix who were the likes of supporting me with Nike and Lulu, who are at the gates, who are, when we're ready, they're ready. So capacity is not an issue for us.
Well, it's an exciting venture you guys are in, and we certainly look forward to following up with some updates. So please join us again in the future, and good luck with everything. Exciting times.
Excellent. Thank you. Really great.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay, everyone. Like I said earlier, the scheduled Foothills, they will be pushing to our next conference on August 3rd. So they had to push to that time. So stay with us. We're going to come back at around 2:15 Eastern time for our last presentation. So we'll be right back.